Hi, my name is Emily Stell, and I'm the professional counselor here at UAM. I'm going to present to you today a PowerPoint on self-care for student success. We're going to go over signs of stress, ways that you can tell that you're starting to feel stressed, and ways that you can implement self-care. We'll go ahead and share my screen with you, and hopefully you are seeing this PowerPoint now. It also has my contact information. So if you have any other questions or you want to reach out to counseling services, feel free to do so. This is the number and email. If you need to look at this information and it's not available to you, you're welcome to go to UAM's website, uamont.edu, and look under the counseling tab, and all this should be there. So we'll go ahead and get started. So these are some symptoms of stress that you may be experiencing. This is not an all-inclusive list, but it does list some of the more common ways that we can feel stress as a student. So feeling irritated, angry, anxiousness, lacking motivation, feeling tired, overwhelmed or burnt out, sad or depressed, difficulty sleeping, and difficulty concentrating. You may not experience all of these symptoms, or you may just experience one. It's just important that you self-reflect on how you exhibit stress, whether you realize it or not. That way you can say, oh, I'm starting to be angrier than usual. This may be a sign that I'm stressing right now. And so you can kind of take a minute, self-reflect, and see where you're at with your own stress level. We'll continue to the next page. So these are tips to build resilience and manage stress. Identify those things which you don't have control over and do the best you can with the resources available to you. So one way you can identify these is like we cannot control whether the pandemic ends today or not. That's out of our control. What we can control is wearing a mask, washing our hands, socially distancing, and taking care of ourselves. And sometimes making a list of the things that we do have control over helps us to feel better, feel less overwhelmed, and feel less anxious. Increase your sense of control by developing a consistent daily routine when possible, ideally one that's similar to your schedule before the pandemic. So this would be getting on a good sleep schedule and making sure you get 8 hours of sleep at night ideally, taking breaks from work. If you work, be sure and take your break. Take a break during homework or studying. You can get up and stretch, listen to 10 minutes of music, kind of get your mind out of the stress that you're experiencing, and implement this self-care. You can pick up the phone and call somebody, or go visit someone, as long as you're maintaining that social distance. But have those healthy breaks that doesn't completely take you away from what you're doing, but is enough that you feel ready to get back into it. Spend time outdoors, be sure and exercise, practice mindfulness, and do things that you enjoy during your free time, if possible. I think one of the things I really want to encourage you to do is to take breaks from watching, reading, or listening to news stories, including social media. Listening to these things or seeing these things repeatedly over and over, even about the pandemic, can be upsetting and mentally exhausting. It just can keep us stressed out. And so take back your sense of control by only checking in once a day. Check in on those numbers if you want to, and then go back to the rest of your daily routine. We don't want to continually watch or listen to something that's going to be upsetting to us. Connect with others. We talked about that a while ago, but If you have someone that you trust that's in your support system, talk with them about your concerns. Tell them how you're feeling, or tell them how the pandemic is affecting you. And you can call, text, video chat, Snapchat. Um, and if you don't have someone like that, feel free to reach out to counseling services. Um, you can check in on others, like someone that maybe you're not struggling with it as much, but you know that a friend is or a family member is. You can call that person and check and see how they're doing, offer them words of encouragement, because that can really help boost our sense of happiness. It feels good when we help other people in a positive way. Look for ways to offer social support to others, especially if they're showing signs of depression or anxiety. These are signs of emotional distress, and this can be very much applicable to you as a student. If you find yourself missing class, arriving late constantly, and that's out of the ordinary for you, inability to concentrate or focus, even with small tasks, not being able to remember things, falling asleep in class, and if you're seeing that change in your own mood or behavior, um, if there's a decrease in the quality of performance on your academics, social behavior changes that includes withdrawal. So let's say your friends or your family's meeting together and it's a safe get together, but you're continually choosing to just stay inside or stay in bed, or you just don't want to go out even when there's opportunity. That could be a social behavior change that can be a sign for you. Um, Suicidal thoughts, suicidal statements, those are things that we really need to take care of. If you experience any suicidal statements, or any suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation, um, contact counseling services at 870-460-1554. I'm here Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. If you feel like you are going to go further than just the thoughts, then you need to contact the emergency hotline at 460-1000. If you experience a recent life crisis, like a death in the family, divorce, relationship change, job loss, serious illness, or legal issues, those are difficult enough on their own, much less having to manage that during a pandemic. So it's important that you recognize that level of stress on top of the school stress and the pandemic. And if you're having trouble managing that again, please reach out, because that's difficult. So this is just a wheel, but it's a self-care wheel, and it's got different ways that you can implement the self-care. And if you want a copy of this or you want a closer look at it, just let me know. There's ways psychologically we can take care of ourselves personally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and professionally if you work. So I'll give it a minute just for you to kind of look over this if you want to. I think making short-term and long-term goals are very important. That will help you keep yourself focused on not just the pandemic, but on what you want to achieve out of this semester, because we don't get these days back. So let's enjoy the days that we have, figure out what your goals are, study so much for this class at this day, implement your exercise in ways that you can that's healthy and would be doctor approved. Make those short-term goals on what you want to achieve each day or each week or each month, and that'll help you make a vision board that's similar. This is a good time to create new hobbies. You can find a new hobby, create new exercises that you want to do. Maybe you've never tried yoga before, but this is a good time for you to. So those are other things. Maybe you take a musical instrument. That's another one. I think one of the things that this pandemic is really causing us to do is be very, I'm trying to think of the word. I do this sometimes. to really make sure that we implement self-care. We have to be purposeful. That's the word I was looking for. We need to be purposeful with implementing self-care. Before, we would stay busy maybe, and it would just be, oh, I'm going to go do this, or I'll make some time to do this. Now we're having to say, okay, I'm going to choose very actively to eat healthier. I'm going to choose to exercise at this time. We're having to really create our schedule in a different way and do things to take care of ourselves. And then this has art therapy resources, but it's more self-care activities. I'm looking at these two. And again, if you want a copy of this, just let me know. This includes physical self-care, mental self-care, emotional and relationship self-care. And we've kind of gone over this again, but still, you'll find new things. One of my favorites is watching comedy movies. I just think laughter is really good medicine. It's good to be able to find humor in things, and that's very important. Let's see. Detach from electronic devices. Detach from electronic devices. Engage in a fun hobby. And be sure and connect. If you find yourself reclusing, be sure and connect with somebody that you can. Get outside. All those things. Okay. Well, this is it. That's the end of the slide. I made this kind of short and sweet. But if you have any other questions or you want to reach out to counseling services, again, I'm located in the Student Success Center. My name is Emily, and just contact me. If you're not sure if counseling's for you, or you don't know if you want to do counseling on campus, we can still kind of have what I call a consult and see if we can find a provider for you in the community, or I can kind of hear you out and see what's going on if this would be a benefit for you. But take care and contact me if you need me, and thank you for your time.